Greetings. I am so excited to share this video with you. This one is really special because it is personal stories about how spirit has manifested in my life. I've been promising to share this story of my two houses with one of the people I work with individually for years. So Gail, this is for you. But we've been so busy talking about all other things spiritual, I haven't gotten to share. So this is my absolute favorite story of how spirit helped me manifest my two homes. And I think that there are countless stories. In fact, I think this happens to me almost every day where I am connected with spirit and I know someone's going to call before they do, or I am clear about what's happening with one of the people I'm working with before they tell me, and all sorts of other things where spirit manifests in my life and I clearly get indications of spirit's work. And I'd love it if you would share in the comments below your favorite stories of spirit manifesting in your life. This story is really focused on the law of attraction, which is one of the ways a spirit works. I think that there are other spiritual laws and things that are more complicated than just the law of attraction. If you want to know more about the law of attraction, I refer you to The Secret, the book and the movie, which focuses solely on the law of attraction. But as I said, I believe that our relationship with spirit is more complicated than that. The spirit also partners with us to help us learn lessons, not to only manifest things in our lives that we want, but the things that we need. So here is my story of my favorite story of spirit helping me manifest things in my life. I've mentioned previously that I am divorced. My first marriage was very difficult and it took many years to heal and repair from that abusive relationship. And in that healing and repairing, I lived in a brownstone in Brooklyn. I grew up in Brooklyn and I grew up in brownstones in Brooklyn. I've always loved them and it's always been a dream of mine to own one. So when my little apartment was starting to fall apart around me, the cabinets were falling down, and I didn't want to pay more to move somewhere else because I didn't want to pay someone else's mortgage, I decided it was time for me to buy my own house. I was ready. And in being ready, in my meditation one day, Spirit clearly said to me, it's going to be okay. You're going to get a house that's going to be at a price that you can afford, because houses in Brooklyn, brownstones in Brooklyn, can be very expensive. But I heard clearly that it would be one of those situations where people were divorced and they wanted to get rid of the house. So, trusting in spirit, I started looking. And in that effort, just starting to look around, starting to look online, contact realtors, one day I'm having dinner with a friend. And this is a friend that I knew because we both were interested in books. He'd published a book, I was working on publishing a book. So we were friendly around books and those kinds of things. And during dinner, I mentioned that I was ready to buy a house. And you know, he said to me, wouldn't it be funny if you bought my house? Whoa, stop. What do you mean, wouldn't it be funny if I bought your house? I had no idea that his parents were indeed divorced and had held onto the house for their children, but now both of their children were adults and they were ready to dissolve the last thing that was connecting them. They were ready to sell their house. That night, I drove him home. And when I walked in the door, there's actually a foyer that you can't quite see here on the other side of that door at the bottom of the stairs. When I walked into that foyer, I got this overwhelming sense of peace and the clear notion from spirit that this is your house. This is your home. This is where you will be happy. And so it was a bit of a journey from there, of course, and it was an exercise in faith and believing in that as I went through a few ups and downs with mortgage companies and so forth. But yes, indeed, this was my house. And this house was such a happy home. It was actually the place where I had my first private practice office. I had my first business. At the Sankofa Center for Health and Healing, which is now closed, but it was a holistic center, and many, many happy years until I found my current husband and got married again. Now, of course, we could have lived in this house, but we both agreed that Brooklyn wasn't the right place for both of us. Now, he was from the Bronx, I was from Brooklyn. We looked around and decided that Westchester would be where we made our new home. We took a year looking and looking and looking for houses. We went to every open house. We went and looked all over the place. We got close to buying a few homes. But then I saw this picture or something similar to it on the internet. And when I looked at this picture, I got that same feeling that I got when I walked into my first house. The feeling that this is yours. This is where you'll be happy. This is where you'll make a house into a home. And once again, there were some ups and downs and some exercises in faith as we went through getting a mortgage together. But what was really important is we were engaged and we wanted to get married on the same day we got engaged the year before. And so it was really important to us to close on this house in time for our wedding. And would you believe we did just that? We closed on this beautiful house and had our wedding 4 days later in the empty house. So we put chairs in and our friends and family were there. And we got married here instead of a wedding hall or banquet hall or any other place. We decided that the best place to start our new lives together was in our new home. And so it was with Spirit's guidance and reassurance that I asked for something and that I was able to manifest. Someplace where now my daughter was born here, and this is us looking out the front window on our little cul-de-sac. We live on a dead-end street, something else I'd always wanted to do when I imagined living someplace else if it wasn't Brooklyn. And this is our backyard, which is full of grass and trees and beautiful all year round, and a place that I find grounding and peaceful. And that's our little girl looking up at the sky a few years ago. She's bigger now. So Spirit has helped me manifest both of these homes through the law of attraction, knowing what I wanted, but also through listening to Spirit and Spirit's guidance along the way so that I could have the things that I desired to bring into existence. And would you believe, it just dawned on me as I was making this video that to buy the second house, that couple was also divorced and they were living in the house and wanted to get rid of it. So that also helped us be able to get something that was within our price range, because otherwise we might not have been able to buy something in this beautiful neighborhood. So I feel very blessed that these are the main stories that come to mind when I think of Spirit. But as I said, Spirit manifests itself in my life all the time. So now that I've shared my favorite stories of how Spirit has helped me manifest things in my life, I would really love to hear yours. As I said, although these are big things and these are major stories, I experience Spirit manifesting in my life every day. And so I would love to hear the big and little ways you've experienced that connection with Spirit, where you get clear guidance and you know that when you follow that guidance, you see the evidence of what Spirit has in store for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to hear my story of Spirit. Hope you liked it, Gail. For more information about me and my work, please visit drakhu.com, DRAKHU.com.